And now, to begin the class of 2021 Social Work Convocation, please welcome the Dean of the Steve Hicks School of Social Work, Luis H. Zayas.
Welcome, graduates of the class of 2021, and welcome family and friends of our distinguished graduates. In this unique time of physical distancing, we must continue to observe our great traditions. And like everything else during this pandemic, we must do it differently, with less time and fewer people. Still, this moment of recognition celebrates you and what you have accomplished. We can't let a pandemic diminish our very strong bonds. I am Luis Zayas, Dean of the Steve Hicks School of Social Work. It is a dean's highest honor and privilege to award degrees and celebrate our graduates. Your hard work and intellectual curiosity, as well as your resiliency, spirit, and energy in the face of a time like no other, have brought you to this important moment today. These aren't easy achievements. To get here today, graduates, you were supported, mentored, and loved unconditionally by family and friends. If they are with you now, wherever in the world you are as you watch this, please take a moment to thank them with words and a hug. If they are far away, take this moment to thank them in the ways you know how. Text, Zoom, Instagram, email, in fact, maybe even an old-fashioned phone call. For the undergraduates who are receiving your degrees today, we recognize what an important step it is along your journey in life. If you are the first one in your family to graduate from college, what we call first-generation graduates, we recognize you and celebrate this achievement. Receiving your degrees is a mighty step for you, an important one for your siblings and parents and your extended family. You make them proud and serve as a model of perseverance. Class of 2021, you know more than any other class that a great school is much more than a building. After all, you have finished your last year and more off campus. A great school is an idea, a concept about shaping the life of the mind and teaching skills. It is also a community of people led by an outstanding faculty. Rituals such as commencement keep us tied to our traditions. They tell the world who we are. You can change the world using kindness, love, valor, grace, forgiveness, hard work, and commitment. That is how you will do it. But it's not enough. To change the world, you need knowledge and skills and lots of practice. At the Steve Hicks School of Social Work, we teach to that very core. We are making change that matters. But graduates, you know that. You know that's what social workers do. Friends and family, I want to tell you something about the noble profession that your graduates have chosen as their life's path. All of us will, at some point in our lives, regardless of our station in life, be served by a social worker. Let's face it, Alzheimer's, addictions, autism, COVID-19 don't recognize age, social class, religion, race, ethnicity, or gender. Mental illness doesn't distinguish between a child from foster care, a brilliant athlete, or the richest CEO. These humans' problems don't care if you're gay or straight, or liberal or conservative. They can happen to any of us. For that reason, social workers are found in nearly every organization or place where people live and work. Social workers are found in the nonprofit world and in the profit-making world, in the town hall and the state house, in faith-based organizations and the U.S. Armed Forces, in public agencies, hospitals, and schools. In sum, social workers are wherever they help forgotten people feel cherished, marginalized people feel embraced, confused people feel understood, and broken people feel whole. That, friends, is what social workers do. And our graduates will do these things and more. You should be very, very proud of them. Before I close, I want to take a moment to recognize the many graduates whose Spanish-speaking families and friends are watching from the United States, Mexico, and throughout Latin America. Para los estudiantes que están recibiendo sus títulos hoy, todos reconocemos que es un paso importante a lo largo de su viaje de logros y éxitos. Me complace especialmente reconocer a aquellos estudiantes que son los primeros en sus familias en graduarse de la universidad. Como ustedes, fui el primero en mi familia en graduarme de la universidad. Y sé lo que significó para mis padres y hermanos. Estoy seguro de que los mismos sentimientos fluyen en sus familias. Recibir sus títulos no es solo un gran paso para ustedes, es importante para sus hermanos, padres y familia extendida, quienes sin duda se sienten muy orgullosos. Es importante para los más jóvenes de la familia, a quienes ustedes servirán de modelo. Sepan que hoy cada uno de ustedes ha iniciado un legado para los seres queridos. La Escuela de Trabajo Social Steve Hicks los apoya y nos complace reconocer a ustedes y a sus familias. In closing, I want you graduates to reflect on your education and your time at the school. Your education here, we hope, has built your confidence and burnished your character. We trust you will carry fond memories of much laughter, some tears, many challenges, awakenings, frustrations, sweet successes, and a great deal of knowledge that will be your lifelong companions. We are honored to have you as colleagues and friends as we live out our vocation together. Best wishes to all of you, happy trails, and hook 'em horns.
Please welcome the 2021 BSW commencement speaker, Anna Farr.
Why did you pick social work? Was it because you have an aunt, uncle, a sister, or a brother who chose it first? Was it because you lived through a challenging experience and wanted to make it easier for someone else to go through? What if you didn't choose social work, but social work chose you? My story isn't that unique. I started college in a different major, changed it a few times before social work. I volunteered, had internships, and worked part-time jobs, and each one changed my path. As social work students, we're exposed to this incredibly broad field where we can truly be anything. But part of why I think social work chooses us, rather than us choosing social work, is because each class we have, each job we have, even each conversation we have, sparks a new interest, a new passion, and redirects our path. Our work as social workers will never be confined to one area. We will continue to be chosen by social work in many different ways throughout our career. In high school, I worked at a tutoring center for elementary students, and in the break room, my boss posted the quote, "Far and away, the best prize that life has to offer is the chance to work hard at work worth doing." If you've made it to graduation, you were picked by social work and decided it was work worth doing. And that is something to celebrate. But what is also worth celebrating is that, yes, the nuances of our time at UT may look different. There's one thing I found to be at the heart of every social work student, a drive to sacrifice themselves in order to improve someone else's condition. When the world shut down last year, BSW students kept going. When our field internships looked significantly different than we had spent 4 years preparing for, BSW students logged on. And whenever one classmate had even a stale cup of coffee or a little paper cut, BSW students showed up for each other and offered their unconditional friendship. I am inspired every day by you all to do better, to be better, and to know better. I have been challenged and stretched by the consistent openness and vulnerability of this graduating class, the endless knowledge and strength to keep pursuing what you all know to be right, and the ability to do extremely difficult things because you believe it could help someone else. It would take more than my 2 hands to count the number of times I wanted to stay in bed on a rainy weekday morning, but made the 2-mile trek that we all know so well to class simply to experience the warmth and inspiration you all packed in your book bags and brought to the table. What a privilege it was to share the past few years with the incredible individuals who let social work choose them. Please take today to reflect on what you just endured for 4 years and celebrate for earning a degree in a major that will have people telling you for the rest of your life, "Wow, that takes a special person," or "You must have a big heart."
Please welcome the 2021 MSSW commencement speaker, Haelim Zhang.
Dear Class of 2021, it is my great pleasure and honor to stand before you all to give this speech. I also want to thank our friends, family, and faculty members for supporting our journey through the program. I remember walking to the Utopia Theater for orientation before the start of our program. We were all excitedly talking to each other about our career goals and how we decided to study social work. None of us saw an abrupt transition to a program line, nor a global pandemic that will impact our world so deeply. As a class, we also endured another recession due to the pandemic and the ongoing pain of racial injustice and reconciliation. During all these matters, we were the first class to start and finish our placements online and one of the first to complete a graduate program during a pandemic. I think we can all agree that we're getting our master's in social work and our master's in Zoom. It is a year that none of us will forget anytime soon. Throughout the program, we learn from our fieldwork, lectures, and discussions in our classes. But most importantly, we learned and expanded our knowledge from and with each other. All the valuable life experiences everyone brought to the program made each of our learning even more rich and full. We, as social workers, are resilient. We are a group of individuals that stands firm to fight for the ones in need. We only became stronger social workers through all the challenges and tribulations we faced. Here are a few ways that we supported one another, our community, and our nation. We're the first class to start the food pantry distribution to address the food insecurity experienced by our peers. Some of us also started an organization to fight for environmental justice. We also spoke up to start the Black Scholars Network. We continue to advocate for addressing racial injustice and other iniquities we saw throughout the pandemic. Last but not least, we exercised our rights to vote during the past presidential election season. In direct and indirect ways, our actions continue to make a difference at the university and in society. Here's a quote by Helen Keller from 1888 that I kept returning to throughout the program. "Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much." This quote reminds me of how social workers function like a basketball team. We do not carry the ball by ourselves, but we pass the ball to a teammate when we cannot reach the hoop. We keep supporting each other when there's opposition, no matter how difficult. We celebrate when there's victory and mourn when there's a loss. I'm so honored and thankful for our class, for being a team that can carry each other's joy and burden for the rest of our lives. We will forever be the class known as the COVID class, the resilient and strong class despite all the abrupt changes we faced together as a team. In our chosen path, we will continue to strive to be the social workers we're trained to be. In applying our well-earned expertise, we will provide services that will bring out our clients' strengths and use our abilities to support the achievement of the goals they have set for their lives. All in all, graduate school has been an eventful and meaningful journey for each of us. We cried together when we got overwhelmed. We rejoiced and laughed together as we celebrated even the smallest victories with our clients. We learned to be even more flexible and compassionate in our fast-moving environment. This is who we have become. We're proud social work graduates. I'm confident that we will continue to make the world a better place a little bit at a time. Class of 2021, be strong and courageous. We are equipped with every tool that we need to face the challenges that may come our way. We will continue to be a community of social workers who will challenge the iniquities and advocate for our clients. As we start our careers by joining many different teams, I hope we can all gather someday without a mask back with our home team where our journey together began. Thank you.
I'm proud to present our Bachelor of Social Work students who have fulfilled all of the requirements to earn their degrees and are here in person with us today. Recipient of the John and Catherine Early Endowed Scholarship in Social Work and the Diane and Leslie White Endowed Scholarship and the UT Heals Scholarship, Elena Mae Bigness. Alyssa Lynn Garza. Recipient of the Dean's Endowed Scholarship Fund and the Leslie and John David Moritz Endowed Scholarship in Social Work, Anna Huyen Sung. Constance Anne Danger Kelly. Recipient of the Leon and Julie Stone Payne Endowed Scholarship in Social Work and the Diane and Leslie White Endowed Scholarship, Erin Alexis Inaosa. Carly Gail Neal. Emily May Ballard. Recipient of the Helen Farabee Memorial Endowed Presidential Scholarship and the Betty Lewis Vesterwaite Endowed Scholarship, Iris Hoveen Kem. Ashlyn LaPriest. Lily Frances Nyland. Hannah Bryn Salk. Megan Marie Warren. Stephanie Roman. Trina May Gonzaga. Taylor Paige Stansberry. Sydney McClellan Elwell. Audrey Nicole Scheme. Alondra Arlaria Fasundo. Christopher Alexandra Bobecchio. Sierra Rose de la Fuente. Tareem Raza, graduating with honors. Oh. Hussein Salih Hussein. with high honors and recipient of the Louis A. Zerker Memorial Scholarship, Ellen Elizabeth Finke. Riley Kathleen Hennessy. Recipient of the Ruth McCroy Scholarship and Services for Children and Families, and the Martha S. Williams Endowed Presidential Scholarship, and the Sponsor a Student Scholarship, Deja Charnay Domi Martinez. Jacob Joseph Yarvis. Valerie Ariata. Anaí Lisbeth Esparza. Madeline Grace Jones. Ora Rocio Morales Fuentes. Hannah Renee Blazing. Gabriela Otero. Recipient of the Vincent J. Donito Endowed Scholarship and the Mary and Brian Mulvaney Endowed Scholarship in Social Work, Audra Trianne Williams. Recipient of the Leslie and John David Moritz Endowed Scholarship in Social Work and the Social Work Endowed Presidential Scholarship, Anna Maria Gorakis. Recipient of the King Stevens Memorial Scholarship in Social Work and the Diane and Leslie White Endowed Scholarship, as well as the Judge Stuti Patel and Mr. Hiran Patel Scholarship for Advocacy in Criminal Justice, Norma Patricia Jaramillo. Recipient of the John and Jennifer Gates Endowed Scholarship in Social Work and the Emily and Dan Jackson Endowed for Excellence in Juvenile Justice, Victoria Elizabeth Garcia. Recipient of the Kim Heilbronn Endowed Scholarship in Social Work and the T. Tang and Rachel San Endowed Presidential Scholarship in Social Work, Jerry Garcia. Maria Reyes Martinez. Cheyenne Castro. Jamie Lee.
afternoon. I'm Sarah Swords, Assistant Dean for Master's Programs at the Steve Hicks School of Social Work. I'm proud to present our Masters of Science in Social Work students who have fulfilled all of the requirements to earn their degrees and are here in person with us today. Catherine Harwood. Recipient of the Patrick Hefferon Memorial Endowed Fellowship in Social Work, Caitlin Porter Oliver. John and Jennifer Gates Endowed Scholarship in Social Work recipient, Laura Isabel Garza. Interprofessional Education Scholar, recipient of the Judge Pat Shelton and family, Elizabeth Haley, Ian, and David Scott Shelton Endowed Presidential Fellowship, Healthcare Social Work recipient, certificate recipient, and Dean's Ambassador, Tia Chandler Cage. Tessa Danielle Bathauer. Recipient of the Phi Alpha Honor, St. David's Foundation Bilingual Social Work Scholarship, and Dean's Ambassador, Stephanie Davila. Erica Giselle Padron Salazar. Dean's Ambassador, Caroline Davis Shepard. Grace Scholar, Steve Hicks Scholars and Fellows Endowment, St. David's Foundation Grace Fellowship, and Dean's Ambassador, Diana Elaine Didi Diaz. Phi Alpha and Integrated Behavioral Health Scholar, Ting Sung and Wei Fong Cho Foundation Endowed Scholarship in Social Work, Melissa Carly Knockbauer. Catherine Victoria Early. Grace Scholar, Interprofessional Education Scholar, Healthcare Social Work Certificate, Cassidy Michaela Kaminsky. Stella Churchill Mullins Endowed Presidential Scholarship, Emma Raya Petersheim. The Mary John and Ralph Spence Graduate Fellowship in Social Work, Genesis Alejandra Heredia. Fernando Medrano, Jr. Grace Scholar, Zachary Ross Anglin. Katrina Lee Fitzpatrick Thompson. Anne Elizabeth Gilbert. Nicole Williams Adams Memorial Endowed Presidential Fellowship in Social Work, Kimberly Nicole Cooper. Phi Alpha and Mary John and Ralph Spence Graduate Fellowship in Social Work, Dean's Ambassador, Catherine Stella Sachs. Victor and Myra Ravel Social Work Scholarship in Children's Rights, Claudia Nayeli Hernandez. Jean and Terry Startzel Endowed Presidential Fellowship in Social Work, Ciara Luis Esperanza. Dean's Endowed Scholarship Fund, Fenelli Ramirez Vasquez. Phi Alpha and Grace Scholar, St. David's Foundation Grace Fellowship, Healthcare Social Work Certificate recipient and Dean's Ambassador, Donald Joe Collier. Ariel Jalomo Salinas. Lauren Louise Hinkle. Interprofessional Education Scholar, Patsy Stice Memorial Graduate Fellowship in Social Work, Interprofessional Education Scholar, Courtney C. Harris. Pamela A. Ackert Endowed Scholarship, Anna Christine O'Quinn. Cap City Kids Scholarship and Dean's Ambassador, Anna Catherine Love. Mary John and Ralph Spence Graduate Fellowship in Social Work, Marjorie Engel Loeb and Robert H. Loeb Graduate Fellowship in Social Work, Dean's Ambassador, Alex Yvonne Bell. Phi Alpha, Susanna Ruth Parkin. Michaela Danielle McConnell. Andrew and Stacy Cernicki Endowed Scholarship in Social Work, Elias Danielle Lang Cortez. Ariana Elise Reyes. Stella Churchill Mullins Endowed Presidential Scholarship, Aisha Akbar. Endowed Scholarship, Traquana Trinae Smith. Cap City Kids Scholar, Bex Kellen Byington. Megan Grace Reynolds. Phi Alpha Integrated Behavioral Health Scholar, Shanti Pariti Arajula. St. David's Foundation Grace Fellowship, Lorena Alexandra Sanchez. Christina May Franklin. Grace Scholar, St. David's Foundation Grace Fellowship, George C. Torres Endowed Graduate Fellowship, Dean's Ambassador, Stefa Dragoon. Phi Alpha Grace Scholar, Stella Churchill Mullins Endowed Presidential Scholarship, St. David's Foundation Grace Fellowship, Dean's Ambassador, Catherine Madison Suker. Phi Alpha, Ashley Michelle Abels. Integrated Behavioral Health Scholar and Dean's Ambassador, Angel Lene Morrison. Integrated Behavioral Health Scholar, Interprofessional Education Scholar, the Robert Carl Nesbitt Memorial Endowed Presidential Scholarship, Josefina M. Hernandez. Chloe Goodman. Yulisa Colunga. Interprofessional Education Scholar, Camille Elizabeth Jones. Grace Scholar, Family Trauma Systems Endowed Fellowship in Social Work, Patricia Quigg and Joseph P. Mullins, Dean's Excellence Fund, and Grace Scholar, Anna Click. Grace Scholar and Integrated Behavioral Health Scholar, Interprofessional Education Scholar, Steve Hicks Scholar and Fellows Endowment, St. David's Foundation Grace Fellowship, Interprofessional Education Scholar, Healthcare Social Work Certificate, and Dean's Ambassador, Rose Balin Brown. Caitlin Ann Hobbs. Hicks Scholars and Fellows Endowment, Christina Lori Thurland. Corinna Marie Archer Kingsman. Gus N. Swain Endowed Scholarship, Tanea Jemay Oliveras. Kaylee Alyssa Villegas Perkins. Family Trauma Systems Endowed Fellowship in Social Work and Dean's Ambassador, Rebecca Genevieve Coy. Interprofessional Education Scholar, Dean's Ambassador, Bailey Elizabeth Fowler. Phi Alpha, Hannah Lorraine Coleman. The Darren Zeller Memorial Endowed Presidential Fellowship in Social Work, Jalen Jakai Sorrells. Fernanda V. Marin. Dean's Endowed Scholarship Fund, Dean's Ambassador, Aaron Isaac Escajeda. St. David's Foundation Bilingual Social Work Scholarship, Jessica Botello. George C. Torres Endowed Graduate Fellowship, Ashlyn Mackenzie Gegren Branscombe. Integrated Behavioral Health Scholar, Interprofessional Education Scholar, Dean's Ambassador, Allison Nicole Shelton. Integrated Behavioral Health Scholar, St. David's Foundation Bilingual Social Work Scholarship, Interprofessional Education Scholar, Dean's Ambassador, Monica Viridiana Navarro Jimenez. Grace Scholar, Integrated Behavioral Health Scholar, Andrew and Stacy Cernicki Endowed Scholarship in Social Work, St. David's Foundation Grace Fellowship, Dean's Ambassador, Mary Suzanne Schroeder Fowler. Gabrielle Rose Taylor. Interprofessional Education Scholar, Catherine Louise Culbertson. Edwin Fabian Vasquez. Amy DeMol Endowed Presidential Scholarship, Jillian Rose Severinsky. Grace Scholar, Interprofessional Education Scholar, St. David's Foundation Grace Fellowship, Kaylin Koch Fellowship, Interprofessional Education Scholar, Healthcare Social Work Certificate, Leela K. Olson. Phi Alpha recipient, Dean's Ambassador, Monica G. Rosario. Robert Carl Nesbitt Memorial Endowed Presidential Scholarship, Brianna Sowers. Kirsten Alexis Engstrom. Cap City Kids Scholarship, Dean's Endowed Scholarship Fund, Hannah Phoebe Schur. Family Trauma Systems Endowed Fellowship in Social Work and Dean's Ambassador, Benjamin Norbert Abito. Grace Scholar and St. David's Foundation Bilingual Social Work Scholarship, Lorena Sarai Sierra. Mary John and Ralph Spence Graduate Fellowship in Social Work, Vanessa Victoria Magana. Madeline Claire Hyde. Taylor Renee Williams. Mary John and Ralph Spence Graduate Fellowship in Social Work and Dean's Ambassador, Isela Denise Ortiz. Sarah Renee Reyes. Erin Ashlyn Day. Phi Alpha and Dean's Ambassador, Avery Cowden Nelson. Grace Scholar and St. David's Foundation Grace Fellowship, Audrey Phyllis Burnett. Dean's Ambassador, Deja Monique Gamble. Grace Scholar, Integrated Behavioral Health Scholar, Interprofessional Education Scholar, Steve Hicks Scholars and Fellows Endowment, St. David's Foundation Grace Fellowship, Dean's Ambassador, David Ray Burrows. Phi Alpha, Andrew Pickett Mobley Memorial Endowed Presidential Fellowship of Social Work, and Dean's Ambassador, Emily Catherine Buto. Yonche In. Integrated Behavioral Health Scholar, Rebecca Louise Molden. Andrew and Stacy Cernicki Endowed Scholarship in Social Work and Dean's Ambassador, Julia Walker Rivers. Patricia Quigg and Joseph P. Mueller, Dean's Excellence Fund and Dean's Ambassador, Brody Wayne Amos. Grace Scholar and Integrated Behavioral Health Scholar, Helen Farabee Memorial Endowed Presidential Scholarship, St. David's Foundation Grace Fellowship, Kelsey Lee Harmon. Integrated Behavioral Health Scholar, St. David's Foundation Bilingual Social Work Scholarship, and Dean's Ambassador, Wilmarie Rios Jaime. Grace Scholar and St. David's Foundation Grace Fellowship recipient, Jessica Vanessa Bellinger. Phi Alpha recipient, Andrea Steen Martin. Dean's Ambassador, Philippa Jane Mason. Kara and Jay Hartzell, Endowed Fellowship in Social Work, Helen Farabee Memorial Endowed Presidential Scholarship, Halim John. Rachel Blaylock Hodge. Grace Scholar, St. David's Foundation Grace Fellowship, Cheryl Truesdale Skinner Endowed Graduate Fellowship in Social Work, and Dean's Ambassador, China Usri. Phi Alpha, George C. Torres Endowed Graduate Fellowship and Dean's Ambassador, Ashley Leanne Silver. Andrew Pickett Mobley Memorial Endowed Presidential Fellowship in Social Work, Clara Catherine Duffy. Jacqueline K. Trevino.
Good afternoon. I'm Cynthia Franklin, Associate Dean for Doctoral Education at the Steve Hicks School of Social Work. And I'm proud to recognize today Jamie O'Gara. Jamie's being recognized for the candidate for Doctor of Philosophy degree, and that's the highest degree in our profession. She's completed rigorous coursework and original research in the form of a dissertation. Jamie's dissertation is titled Non-Resident Father Involvement and Adolescent Well-Being Within the Context of Economic Hardship and Application of Family Stress Model. It's a tradition with doctoral candidates that they all are hooded. And today we have with us her dissertation chair, Dr. Esther Quezada, who will be hooding Jamie. Congratulations to Jamie.
And now, we are proud to recognize our Bachelor of Social Work and Masters of Science in Social Work students who have fulfilled all the requirements to earn their degrees and are participating in this ceremony remotely.
Alyssa Chavez, Bachelor of Social Work. Anna Grace Farr, Bachelor of Social Work with Honors. Aaron Hinojosa, Bachelor of Social Work. Haley Mitchell, Bachelor of Social Work. Daniela Owens, Bachelor of Social Work. Aurelio Robledo, Bachelor of Social Work. Myra Torres, Bachelor of Social Work. Olivia Berkeley, Master of Science in Social Work, Phi Alpha National Social Work Honor Society. Allison Block, Master of Science in Social Work. Rachel Bono, Master of Science in Social Work. Madeline Brunk, Master of Science in Social Work. Marissa Leanne Marinello Bumagni, Master of Science in Social Work. Katrina Creighton, Master of Science in Social Work, Phi Alpha National Social Work Honor Society. Emily Dabrowski, Master of Science in Social Work. Noah Flores, Master of Science in Social Work. Sarah Freilicher, Master of Science in Social Work. Deandria Garza, Master of Science in Social Work. Hannah Ging, Master of Science in Social Work. Bridget Gonzalez, Master of Science in Social Work. Kat Grau, Master of Science in Social Work, Phi Alpha National Social Work Honor Society. Kyle Harmon, Master of Science in Social Work. Elisa Ardiel Hernandez, Master of Science in Social Work and Master of Public Affairs. Heisel Herrera, Master of Science in Social Work. Brianna Higgins, Master of Science in Social Work. Ty Howarth, Master of Science in Social Work. Erica Yaquez, Master of Science in Social Work. Hava Kane, Master of Science in Social Work. Whitney Klusman, Master of Science in Social Work. Anna Noelle Kraus, Master of Science in Social Work. Bradley McLean, Master of Science in Social Work. Camille Mansauer, Master of Science in Social Work. Laura Marshall, Master of Science in Social Work. Angela Ott, Master of Science in Social Work. Amber Renee Perry, Master of Science in Social Work. Catherine Perry, Master of Science in Social Work. Sarai Rojo, Master of Science in Social Work. Eric Schneider, Master of Science in Social Work. Nicole Noel Schroeder, Master of Science in Social Work. Allison Shelton, Master of Science in Social Work. Juliana Smith, Master of Science in Social Work. Cindy Soliday, Master of Science in Social Work. Hannah Songer, Master of Science in Social Work. Mackenzie Swenson, Master of Science in Social Work. Yamalex Vega, Master of Science in Social Work. Angela Lorena Vela, Master of Science in Social Work. Alexandra White, Master of Science in Social Work. Deanna Williams, Master of Science in Social Work. Aaron Zeiss, Master of Science in Social Work.